Video call to order today is Thursday, March 16th, 11:58 a.m. My name is Brendan Kelsey. Along with me is Mr. Freak Freeman and Mr. Tony Marabell will be your staff panel. Staff is supported to see the DOC headquarters in Baton Rouge. Our remote location is Concordia Parish Detention Center with staff and support at Concordia. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Sergeant Williams.
All right, we're ready for our first case. Let me pull it up. Please introduce yourself, state your name and DOC number for the record.
Hello, Dalton Jaquillard DOC number 629605.
All right, you heard the introduction of our parole interview. Ask some questions, you can respond. At the end, you can make a statement. We'll take a vote. You understand the process?
Yes, sir.
Dalton Jaquillard DOC number 629605. You're a third class offender. Parole eligibility date 4/22/2023. Good time 7/26/2024. Full term 7/22/2028. 11-year sentence. Aggravated criminal damage to property, 3 counts. Aggravated battery, death between $750 to $5,000. Simple burglary. Does that sound correct? You were revoked on 20. Does that sound correct?
Yes, sir.
I answer Mr. Marabella, please.
Mr. Jaquillard, how old are you, sir?
29, sir.
How long have you been in prison on these charges?
16 and 17.
I'm sorry?
2016 and 2017.
How long is that? How long you been in prison on these?
6 years.
Tell me about your education. How far did you go in school?
9th grade, and I got my high set in 2018 in St. Charles Parish.
Did you ever work? Ever have a job on the outside?
Yes, sir. Heavy equipment operator in construction.
Do drugs?
No, sir. I tried it once and got caught and lost 45 days good time for it in New Quincy back in 2019.
Okay, well, that's in prison. Outside, did you ever do drugs?
No, sir.
So tell me about these crimes. Throwing large rocks on cars traveling on I-10. What was that about?
It was a very stupid thing. Me and a buddy of mine was riding out hunting at night and got drunk, and it ended very badly.
All right. So we don't do drugs, but do we drink?
Not no more.
I'm sorry?
Occasionally, but not really no more. I don't like drinking.
You don't like drinking. So how that this particular night you were drunk, what were you drinking?
But
I
like,
see a little smile on your face. Tell me about your drinking.
I really don't drink much. This is occasionally when I went out. I worked at bars a lot, so I dealt with drunk people a lot. So I never really had time to drink by myself.
Tell me about your drinking. When did you start drinking?
Probably 18, 19.
Okay, and how often would you drink?
Occasionally, just like every other weekend, once a month. It wasn't a on.
This particular night when you threw rocks off the interstate. How much had you been drinking that night?
It was probably a case.
A case of beer?
Yes, sir. Between the two of us.
All right, how about the running over the guy with the car?
It did not go happen like that.
Oh, well, you're in jail for it. Were you drinking?
No, sir. I was completely sober.
Okay. How about breaking into the Citgo station, stealing that equipment?
The generator?
Yeah. Were you drinking then?
No, sir.
So why'd you do it?
Just being stupid. Got out of jail, having a hard time. I really don't have an answer for it. It's complete stupidity.
Jaquillard, you've been arrested 8 times. You have 3 felony convictions, which include violent offenses, several misdemeanor convictions, including violent conduct, and you've had a number of arrests for violent crimes that were dismissed. Why all the crime? Why all of this unlawfulness? Danny Roberts said, you only drank on occasion, so I have to assume that you're either antisocial or you're a criminal. Tell me why all the crime.
It really goes back to where I'm from, Benton. My dad had a rough run-in with the law and growing up, and once him and mom got divorced, the cops were so in on him, they kind of just transferred it on me. And as long as I stayed away out of Calcasieu Parish and Benton, I did completely fine. I went to high school in Lafayette, in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, never had no troubles. My mom, when we moved back to Benton, it was an ongoing thing. As long as I stay away from there.
Stop. Did you or did you not throw the rocks off the interstate?
Yes, sir.
That's not cops punishing you.
That's my own stupidity.
Did you or did you not break into the Citgo station and steal the generator?
Yes, sir.
That's not cops getting on you because it's your dad. Right?
No, it's my own decisions and probably the people I hung out with.
The fact that your dad was a badass and the cops were on him, that's not why you did drugs while you were in prison, is it?
No, sir.
So why all of that?
I guess it's the crowd I grew up with and hung around, really. Just following along and being stupid, I guess.
So tell me about the 8 baggies you had on April the 19th of 2021 in prison.
I would love to tell you about that. My first write-up that you didn't ask about, yes, I did that. The second one, I got transferred back to DeQuincy from River Bend. I got in a welding class up there, and DeQuincy pulled me back. They did a shakedown. Shakedown team came in our dorm. I was in an open dorm. They shook down, was shaking us down in order. They shook my rack down, strip searched me, didn't find nothing. They have an empty rack next to mine. They go to search it and they find a bag underneath the empty rack. I think at the time, Captain Kaufman called me over and asked me if I knew what this was. I said, no, sir. Well, he opens it and shows it to me. He says, you know who this is for? I said, no, sir. So he makes an announcement to the dorm. No one takes the link for it. So he places me in lockdown, tells me he's going to come talk to me about it. He said, I know this is not yours. I want to know who it's for. Well, he never came talk to me. I went to DB board that very next morning, and they took 45 days from me after I explained the situation, because they didn't put in the write-up where it was found. They put it was found in my immediate control area. It was found on the floor next to an empty rack. And they kept me in lockdown for 38 days before shipping me to Catahoula.
So you were convicted of that.
Yes, sir.
You are a moderate risk. Law enforcement is opposed to your release. Tell me why I should release you. Tell me, you haven't done well in prison. You've got a pretty violent history. You're very young. Tell me how you changed and why.
I've done everything I could to better myself. I've taken very many good time classes for anger, all that. Got my GED. I've tried getting into Votego classes. And my mom passed away in 18, and that's really what broke me and made me start sitting down and thinking that I needed to change. I just recently went to a divorce last year. I have 2 younger children, 8 and a 7-year-old. And it's just time for me to grow up. I'm tired. I lost everything I've had because of this, me being stupid.
Have you taken any substance abuse programs while you were? Tell me you don't do drugs and you drink occasionally, but have you taken any substance abuse programs?
In DeQuincy, I was in, I think it's Living in Balance, Part 1 and 2. And I didn't get it completed because I got shipped. And everywhere else only puts me in classes that's, I don't know how they go about putting me in classes, but that's the only classes I haven't took according to this sheet she just gave me.
Who's there with you? Is there someone, staff member there with you?
Not in this room. She's outside of the room, sir.
That's all.
All right. You'd like to make a statement on your behalf?
It's really pretty much what I just told him in the end. It's just, it took me a while to realize that the stuff I was doing and everyone I was hurting because of my actions. I'm just tired and ready to try to start over and raise my kids.
All right, thank you. Panel prepared to vote?
Yes.
Mr. Marabella?
Mr. Jaquillard, based on law enforcement opposition, you're a moderate risk to reoffend. I think you need some more programs, especially dealing with substance abuse. I think you're downplaying your drinking. I think you're thinking correctly. Took Thinking for a Change, which is a very good program. I think maybe it's gotten you to thinking. You've got a good term release date of July the 26th of 2024. You're going to be getting out next year for long. So I'm hoping that maybe you can take a few classes between now and then and up that good term release date. So my vote today is to deny, but encourage you to continue to work on yourself. Good luck to you.
Mr. Freeman?
I concur with Mr. Marabella.
All right, 2 votes. I'm also going to vote to deny for the same reasons as stated. Good luck to you.
Thank y'all.
We'll adjourn at 12:10 in Concordia.
Man, that guy's in denial. It was actually kind of funny. Mr. Marabella, his interview style is sometimes just he's got so much experience, just having been like a drug court and a judge and a lawyer and basically everything. And he kind of just like goes with it. He's like, well, tell me about the time you're throwing rocks off the interstate. Well, wasn't your father's fault when you stole those generators from the gas station. It wasn't your father's fault when you ran the guy over with the truck. It wasn't your father's fault when you threw rocks over the interstate. What about when you were caught with those baggies in prison? It's like, this guy is just painting himself as the victim, and it's hard to believe that he doesn't do, that he's clean and sober. It just is. Not a very good strategy with the parole board. Like throwing rocks onto the interstate, that is so dangerous. Like, who does that? Who drinks I don't care how much you drink, you're gonna go and take a rock and throw it where they're driving cars. It's like, you're not like a teenager. And even if you're a teenager, you wouldn't be that dumb to do it. I mean, you're like an adult. You have 2 kids. And I don't know when it was that you were convicted for that, but God, it's like, that's not funny. Man, there's an article here that Richard sent me about him. This one was for possession of a stolen boat. He had stolen the boat, and I think he sold the motor on it. I mean, he's been in prison, basically in and out of jail his whole life, it looks like. And he would really come here and just blame it on his father. It's like, come on, man. You got to take accountability for your actions. And until you do that, you can't start fixing yourself. Oh, man. Anyways, with that, I'll let you go.